Don Seymour owns Fiber Rhythm, a yarn and craft store in Southeast Portland. A knitting machine like this one is a big-ticket item.
In the second quarter, we sold as many as we sold all of last year.
Great news, until that bubble burst. Tariff-related price increases kicked in, and costs rose 37%, adding hundreds of dollars to a machine's price tag.
So we'll probably, for the rest of the year, have pretty close to zero sales on knitting machines.
It's a clear example of tariff impacts. Seymour says consumers changed their behavior, buying early. Now that overseas suppliers have raised their prices to account for tariffs, and shop owners like Seymour have followed suit, customers are largely cutting back.
So if you looked at like average order value and the number of people in your conversion as people are coming into the store, those numbers have all gone down.
In April, KGW talked with 3 Portland business owners about the Trump administration's proposed tariffs, tax increases on imported goods that Trump argues will reduce budget deficits and generate new wealth and domestic manufacturing. For many industries reliant on toys and other items made abroad, tariffs simply mean higher prices.
We absorb what we can, but as a small business, we have lower margins, lower room for error, and we just have to pass on some things.
John Weber is a seismic retrofitter who mostly uses domestic steel and wood. He said he would be less affected.
But I feel like we are in a pretty good position to ride this out.
Months later, Weber reports that's mostly true. Prices stayed generally steady, but business has been slow. He attributes that to apprehension over tariffs and interest rates. At Fiber Rhythm, the cost for yarn, imported from around the globe, has risen between 10 and 20%.
We can't afford to not pass it on. We have low enough margins.
With higher prices across the board, Seymour says she knows her store won't be considered essential.
I feel like it's just another tax on consumers, but without saying it's a tax on consumers.
Already some customers are asking about less expensive alternatives.
As it gets longer and longer and they're having to pay more and more for other things, they're going to spend less here. That's what I think.
What does that mean for someone like you?
That means I dig into my own savings to pay the rent by the end of the year. That's what that means.